Ahoy, Buccaneer, Buckaholics, and Scallops live. And we are going to do it. I'm Manic Buck, and this is my. Tonight, we're going to go over the Plunder's Power 10, a brief Week 3 review, a preview of Week 4's matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles, who fly into town to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we'll also discuss the secondary and the secondary and how it has been a really strong year so far for them. So strap in and get ready because we're about to set sail, baby.
All hands, hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
Welcome aboard the Black Pearl.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. First off, how you been doing, BucDad? It's been a crazy week, and today is actually a crazy day for us and people in the surrounding areas. No volume. All right. Well, we'll get back up with you in just a minute. What we're going to do is do a quick review on Week 3. We had the Denver Broncos come into town with Sean Payton and rookie quarterback Bo Nix. And right off the jump, right off the jump. You know, when we talk about starting fast, we don't see the offense starting fast a lot over the last few years. As a matter of fact, we haven't seen a first drive touchdown in quite a long time. But the biggest thing is, you know, we let the defense go this time. We were also down Vita Vea, which was I think his absence was a clear sign of the lack of pass rush. We didn't get anything in the interior, and they focused everything on the outside. The interiors did their job, and we didn't get any pressure on the quarterback, and we didn't put him in any situations that would benefit us via either, you know, getting to him in a sack and pushing for a fumble. You didn't get any, you know, really bad passes. We didn't get no pressure put on him to get him bad passes in order for him to throw a pick. You know, it was really bad. But the need was just to get off the ball, and we didn't do that on either side on the front line. And I think that was just a big issue. So moving forward, what they needed to do was review the tape. You know, look at a lot of the issues that we had. You know, we had a couple of breakdowns on that first drive for just over 55 yards in the pass on 2 passes. So, you know, they look at it as one game. Coach Todd Bowles says, you know, it's just one game. You know, there was a lot of bad things that happened, but in the end, it's just one game. It's Week 3 out of a 17-week season. So you look at the tape, you correct any issues in practice moving forward to the next week and so forth, and then you focus on to the next. What do you got to say about that?
Bro, that was embarrassing. Yeah. First and foremost, we had talked about it on pregame, and I even mentioned there's that possibility that rookie quarterbacks are going to fuck us up. And I know everybody don't like to hear that narrative, but at the end of the day, it is a narrative that we cannot ignore, bro. We seem to play horrible in those situations. And, bro, after the first 2 scores, I had even told you in the group chat, man, I turned Lost Lands on because 2 o'clock had hit, and I was all for it. I wasn't in the mood to be watching I don't know, man, like unprepared football.
Yeah. I mean, you know, horrible. I looked a lot, you know, we talked a lot in the pregame about preparation and how the Bucs the first 2 weeks have been uber prepared. And you give a little credit to the preseason for that, because we go into these games in week 1 and week 2 where you can almost prep for both of those games. So from that perspective, it was a pretty impactful situation coming into week 3. You thought that we'd be ultra prepared. History preceded itself. Sean Payton owns Todd Bowles.
Oh yeah, bro.
Todd Bowles does not have a good history when it comes to Sean Payton.
Owns the Bucs. Hey, bro, Sean Payton owns the Bucs. Not even just Todd Bowles.
That is very true. You go a long way back with him.
Think about when he was in New Orleans, man. And it didn't. We have BA. We had Dirk. I think we even had. And who did we have? Right before that was Lovey. He owned us in the 7-8 years he was there, man.
Yeah.
Actually, longer.
He was there.
He was there over a decade.
Yeah, and remember the stat. I actually went and corrected myself. I want to correct myself. Anywhere that I've said, or anybody that I've said it to, since 2011, the Bucs are 12-17 against rookie quarterback. Okay. Surprisingly enough, Todd Bowles is 11-6 against rookie quarterbacks. And that is after the defeat to the Bo Nix. So that's intriguing, but you got to acknowledge that the last few years, since Todd Bowles has been here, we've been a little better against rookie quarterbacks, which wasn't something that we thought we'd see.
I'm going to disagree with you. Since Todd Bowles has been in Tampa since 2019, we have not been better against rookie quarterbacks.
You check yourself, sir.
Daniel Jones. Taylor Heineke.
I will post the stats.
And I don't give a damn what you're going to say about that playoff game, bro. Had we not had Tom Brady, because we know what Tom Brady can do. He makes magic, bro.
Right.
Tom Brady gives us magic on offense. He did that. I will not deny it. Had we not had Tom Brady when we had Taylor Heineke, or when we faced Taylor Heineke the first time he was in Washington, he'd have handed us our ass, bro. We would have been out of playoffs. Call it what it is. He handed
Tom
us
Brady won because of Tom Brady's mind, in order knowing what to do in those situations more quicker than the average quarterback, which is why he was so successful. I think his ability wasn't athletic. He was very cerebral. Now, could he move? Yes. But, when I say athletic, I'm talking,
but he did he did just enough to be successful.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, no doubt about it. And that's where I'm going at with it. In that time frame, we would have lost to Taylor Heineke.
Okay.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels would be the only exception in week 1. And honest and deep down, bro, that could have gone either way. That game really could have gone either way. So I'm not gonna really
on point that game though.
He was, and look at that young man. Look at Jaden Daniels at this point, anyways, man. Like,
he's my rookie of the year so far.
I was gonna say, man, like when we do the mid-season grades, that's one of the players right now that I do believe is gonna be that rookie of the year.
He's playing fantastic.
Now back to what we were going at.
Right. Todd
Bowles is not as great as a lot of us would love to believe. Yes, I'm not saying Todd Bowles sucks. I'm not saying get rid of him.
Right.
What I'm saying is we got to do better, bro. He should have had us prepared. Yeah, in my opinion, yes, it starts with coaching because I don't think adjustments were really made. I mean, we were just, bro. We were out coached, man. We were outdone.
Do me a favor. Give me a second.
Okay. So, in my opinion, with what the offense was running, we had a few bright spots, man. Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving was looking good again. But then you move forward. You look at the defense, man. First two drives of the game, Denver scored. Like they were owning us on defense, man. Like they had our number. Getting to Baker numerous times. I'm not going to harp on the interception because I'm not expecting Baker to go pickless. So for that would be an unfair thing. So what I want to see with this coming into this week against Philly, and I'll get more into detail into it later. I want to see how we rebound from a loss. At the end of the day, man, how we rebound from a loss, because that's going to tell everything that we need. Are you good, my man? So, and Derek, check Messenger as well from what Mia is saying. Now, I know you got, I'm looking at everything, and secondary is looking well so far, and I see you. See, you got secondary up on that list, and I'm not going to necessarily say they're playing a lot better. They're playing lights out, but they're looking a lot better. So while I'm waiting on Derek to come back to me, I'm going to say it. I do not want to put Bucky at number one right off rip. It's been 3 weeks. Yes, he is showing flashes, but there's no reason to have this man be number one and have Rachaad White be bounced down as two at all.
I apologize. I had somebody come up to the room.
Okay. What I want to see with it is let these two just be that running back by committee. There's really no reason to jump on it and go, Bucky needs to be number one.
Well, let me acknowledge somebody pointed out I've got a real bad echo. I don't know what's going on. Let me see if I use these headphones. Hold on just a second. Misador messaged me and let me know he can hear a really bad echo.
I also
let me try to see if I can fix
the same
this, guy.
thing. Also,
Yeah.
I'm hearing the echo of the show from the background as well.
Okay.
Apologize for the technical difficulties at the moment. If you're a fan of the show, you know it's common for this right now as we are still learning. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Your head looks wide. Are you there? All right. So, Derek, are you there right now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you need to fix the internet and whatever you got going right now.
There we go.
I'm letting you know as the producer, man, this is your show. We got these right now. This is something we should have had worked out earlier.
I didn't hear. I asked you if you heard an echo.
And I let you know.
Well, it's fixed.
All right, let's
connected.
Go. Continue.
All right. Sorry about that. Let's see here. Let me get back to my script, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that.
Secondary success.
All right. The secondary success so far this year, the Bucs have struggled replacing the key players during their injuries. You know, during moments of big impactful moments in the game, there has been, you know, a clear sign as to why some of these plays are happening. You're having a lot of players out. You know, last week we had Vita Vea out. Nonetheless, the secondary has quietly came through. And I don't know if anybody's paying attention, but through losing Winfield for a couple of games, even having Zion down for that week of practice, and then also being down Josh Hayes as well for a bit. You know, the surprising stat has come to light that the Buccaneers secondary has not allowed a defense yet this year. So that's a really cool factor. The Bucs defense is 34.21% in the red zone with the efficiency. They're 6 of 9 on third down. So being out like Kalisha Cansey and last week Vita Vea is really going to hinder our pressure package. That's one of the reasons why we've had a lot of pressure in the last few weeks, in my opinion, as to why we haven't gotten the quarterback down. We've also need those edge rushers to really come in and add a lot of attention to the quarterback because they're not getting that pressure. Yaya Diaby and JTS, they started off hot in week 1, you know, getting that pressure, and it can, you know, rolled over into week 2. But that was about it. So outside of that, you know, that's a good bright point for the secondary because year after year we come in and we're stressing the secondary and a lot of blown plays. So bending not break mentality is really working in the secondary. So I really thought it was a key factor to bring that to light to Bucs Nation and everybody that's part of the Plunder group.
So I want to bring something to light before we go any further. Yeah. And I don't see this on the script. The one thing that I think we need to talk about, man, is this fucking offensive line.
Oof.
Or lack thereof. And I'm not going to sit here and completely drag out the entire offensive line. That is unfair. Right. I am going to point out 2 things. I miss Luke Gedeke. Because Justin Skill is not him.
No, and you know, I've noticed a lot of, you know, following a lot of different people, and some of those people actually look at game film. You know, I go in and I look at those people and I listen to what they say, but I watch the game film for myself while they're going through it and giving their
another thing that I noticed is Tristan's kind of fallen off.
He's gotten beat a couple of times this year.
Yeah, he's not looking very Tristan Wirfs-ish, in my opinion.
No, it's been a tough start at the beginning of the season for the offensive line, in my opinion. But yeah. I do believe firsthand that this is something that we can actually get on track.
Yeah,
I believe we have the team. But again,
well, I was going to say, man, I don't think like necessarily that it's a bad thing. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say throw the entire line out. It sucks. The weak spot, in my opinion, is still that right-hand side. And I do believe all the shit a lot of us gave Luke Gedeke in the past, I believe we owe him a bit of an apology and a hug. Because he is missed.
Oh yeah.
And I feel
I've I've seen a
I feel
couple of
Baker.
times in
I
the
feel
last two
Baker.
games where Graham Barton has actually, slipped up and made a few bad plays. Cody Mock is in the same shoes. They have been very inconsistent as a whole.
Well, yeah, Graham Barton though. I'm not expecting him to be 100%, bro. Like I'm expecting hiccups with him. I
Yeah.
am okay with a couple mistakes with him. Like there's leeway with the rookies. We talked about it last year, and I'll carry the same sentiment. You got to give them got at least 4 weeks. If they're making these
Well, Coach Todd
issues,
Bowles had his interview. He had his interview, and he actually said by week 6 or 7, or 5 or 6, that he expects the team to be in full form.
yes,
So
that's what I was trying to
think.
get at, bro.
All right.
Like if we're still having
Right.
this conversation 6 weeks in,
Oh, we're in trouble.
absolutely, bro. We need to do something different.
I
But
agree. But I think we'll get it together. I really got faith in the guys. They showed what they can do once they work together.
yeah, absolutely, man. Like they showed a completely different face in the beginning, and I don't think that was really the best that they're gonna get. Like I do
Right.
believe that was here's a glimpse of what you're gonna get from us, and all we're doing from there is go up.
You know what my favorite number is? 13. Always has been. Right? And Mike Evans comes along. 13. That's a beautiful thing, right? I love it. Well, this week, the number's been in my mind a few times. It's how many times Baker Mayfield's been sacked in 3 games. 13 times. 5 in one game. 1 in one game. 7 last week. Absolutely horrendous.
Fucking insane.
See, I was trying to be positive and optimistic and speak good stuff, but I like the little heel turn you pull. I wouldn't expect anything different.
I mean, I look at it this way, bro. Like,
it's a fact. You can't lie about it.
Yeah, you can't. You gotta call it for what it is, bro. Like,
yeah,
they're fucking around.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think it's that time in the middle of the show where we need to acknowledge our partners. And here recently we partnered with GOAT TV. The NFL is back.
What about the NFL being back? Derek, come back. All right. So, what he's trying to tell y'all to do is cut the cord, hit up Matt Grisham, and get GOAT TV. Use the promo code, the Plunder23, and let him know that you were sent from us. I'm not going to tell you there's a discount because I am not 100%. I am still with the cable, only because it behooves the price right now. And Derek will be back momentarily, hopefully. Now, like I said, hit up Matt Grisham, get GOAT TV, and use promo code the Plunder23.
Sorry, guys. This hotel, I guess, is having issues with the storm that we've got coming through in my internet, and it's faulty. So I do apologize. Thank you, BucDad, for picking that up.
I was confused. Now, what you got for the injury update?
So let me get back to it. All right, my injury update
Use
was
use the promo code the Plunder 23, and your first month is for $25.
Oh yeah. Finish
I
that
didn't
up.
realize
Awesome.
the
Yeah.
price.
First, the normal cost of the monthly cost per TV is $45, or for the first TV, I should say. But when
Okay.
you use that promo code and you get with Matt Grisham, your first month is $25, and all of that for $25 just to try it out. Even while you can keep your cable on, just if you're not sure, you don't have to shut it off. Order this stuff and then turn your cable, unplug your cable box, and then turn this on and use your stuff, man. It will work. I'm telling you, and you'll never be happier. Now, as far as the injury update. Injury concerning Vita Vea. He was actually out in practice with today, Wednesday, yesterday. Luke Goddard was cleared from concussion protocol and returned to practice yesterday as well. That was two beautiful sights. Let me tell you what. Now, one of the players that was out there, he wasn't in pads, was Antoine Winfield. He was seen doing stretching activities. So I look for him to be particularly a game time decision. Excuse me, moving later in the weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him out one more week, but we'll just have to wait and see. This is actually going to be a big week, and no offense to Christian Isian, but with a guy like Saquon Barkley coming into town, I really want that secondary shored up really nice and well. Um, let's see. The Buccaneers, like I mentioned earlier, have given up 13 sacks to Baker Mayfield in 3 weeks, and Luke Goddard has been out for two of those. And those 2 weeks, the Buccaneers have given up 12 of those sacks. The first game, we only gave up one sack against the Washington Commanders. But the last 2 weeks, we've given up 12 sacks to one quarterback, and there is no way in hell you can expect him to make a decision or make a play with having that much pressure constantly on him. Now, what he has to also learn to do to help the cause without he might take hits, but he ain't going to take those sacks, is getting rid of the ball. And that's a big thing moving in for the playoffs. You got to be able to move the ball, even if you're not going to complete the pass, because those sacks can mean the difference in a 57-yard field goal and a 61-yard field goal that can literally almost keep your season alive or end your season.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean, you're right. We need, in my opinion, bro, we're going to need Antoine back because,
oh yeah,
yeah, you ain't got to really worry about A.J. Brown per se. But Philly still got some weapons, man.
yes they do.
And
Philly's
we
got
need
plenty of weapons.
you can tell the difference in the defense without Antoine.
Oh yeah. Now, what I really believe is Vita Vea being the key to that pressure. If not helping the defense get through that and complete sacks, we were able to give persistent pressure the first two games. You take Vita out, and we couldn't get in the backfield last week. It was really horrible to watch. One of the young players I'm going to be looking for to continue his development and growth is Savonte Dennis at middle linebacker. He's second leading tackler on the team right now. And moving into week 4, segue, the Philadelphia Eagles coming into town, they've got a hell of a run game and a hell of a running back that everybody was begging to keep in New York because that was the only thing they got. And they let him go, and he went to a pretty solid team who's consistently year in and year out been a contender for the playoffs. And they've recently, in the last few years, have went to a Super Bowl. So Saquon Barkley is a guy that you really don't want to face right now so far this season. He's the league leading in rushing. He has hella numbers. I think it's like over 3 games, it's like 340 was the stat that I looked at. It's crazy. Now the
I was gonna
Eagles
say I got
red zone.
Saquon in one of my fantasy leagues, bro, and he's a big help.
His only fault this year, the only one thing he screwed up on this year was that catch that allowed Atlanta to win, where he missed the
And
ball.
you know what, bro? After that catch, I
That
was
was the
so
only
tempted to
thing.
get rid of him.
You better be glad he didn't. But the Eagles' red zone defense.
Well, I was going to get rid of him for Rashad White, but really not. I already got.
I think right now you're. Yeah, I think right now you're better safe than sorry. But the Eagles' red zone defense is 30% right now. So that means out of 10 times teams have gotten down there, only 3 of them have gotten in the end zone. Okay. That's not horrible. You know, you really want that in the mid 20s, but, or lower. But at 30%, that's not bad. Hurts TD to interception ratio is 1.4 with 34 interceptions in the last 3 years. Okay, he has given up the ball a lot in the last 3 years. He's got a 49.1 QBR. He's 0-3 versus zone coverage, and I mean 0-3 when it comes to touchdowns and interceptions, or 0-3. Excuse me. He's got the second most interceptions in that time frame since the last, I think it was like 3 years. He does have a 70.6 completion percentage coming into this game this year. He's also 1-3 versus Todd Bowles' defense, and 2 of those games were playoff games. I think on the defensive side of the ball, one of the big question marks for the Bucs need to pay attention to is Jalen Carter. He was very disruptive last week in New Orleans, and he helped aid shutting down that offense who the week before put out 40-plus points against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, that being said, what I expect this week in this week's game, I would hope to see Bucky Irving coming in starting the ball game. On offense, I'm going to speak on offense first and then defense, but I think Bucky Irving deserves to be the starting back at this point, not the premier back. I do believe that he's been efficient, but he hasn't been given the ball as much in the pass game. But as of right now, I would definitely, for the majority of the passes coming out of the backfield, sticking with Rashad White, those design passes. He has the ability to run and break plays, but he has struggled seeing the hole. He did it. He's done it his whole career. I've been a big fan of him. I've had high hopes for him. I still got high hopes for him, but he's got to make a few adjustments. But on that run game, and I do believe he's a better pass protector in the backfield, but that's also still yet to come with Bucky Irving, this early in his career. I also expect they need to get Mike Evans the ball very quickly, very soon, and a lot. That's the key to our success. I don't care how many yards Godwin has. You've got to get Evans into the game. If he's not into the game, they're gonna shut one side of the field down, and it's going to be so much easier for that defense to pick off Baker Mayfield one at a time, whether it's a sack or an interception. Now, that being said, I think it's going to be a close game this week. I got 23-20 Buccaneers.
All right. Let me look at it real quick. 23-20. I like it. It's cute. I think we win. But let's dive into it for a sec. 23-20. All right. I'm gonna say 27-20.
27-20. Okay, now that's Bucs, right?
The over-under is 43.
Okay. I actually, on who was I watching? NFL Network, I think is what it was. No, it was NFL Live. They had the Buccaneers and the Eagles split 2-2 on their picks. I think it's both teams are struggling coming in this week. Um, Philly has Jalen
Philly's
Hurts, who's
favored to win,
really, I
bro. We are
think,
the underdog.
yeah, we are the underdog.
Yeah, we're the underdog
By how
at
many
home.
now?
Huh?
How many?
1.5.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, that being said, they don't ever have anything riding on the Bucks as far as expectations. But
Yeah,
that
I mean
either way,
the last couple of weeks after we beat Detroit, we were
yeah,
heavily favored to win last week, bro. So
we were.
whoever picked Denver, fucking ran out. They ran that money good.
Yeah, they're probably still off from work right now. You know, but well, this is the time of the show where we bring a fortunate gentleman in named BucDad who does. You want to go before or after?
I'll run it.
Okay. You ready to run it now? Okay. Well, this is the episode that he takes over. We shut up and listen because he brings us parlay or plays.
Because we had to. All right, well, week 4 is officially kicked off with Dallas and New York on your TVs right now. If you got Amazon Prime,
Or the
how
Go
much?
TV package.
Or if you get the Go TV package, shout out Matt Grisham. Actually, just shout out Spectrum because they didn't kill my shit. Now, tonight, if you were smart, you might as well pick Dallas. You might as well pick New York over Dallas because Dallas is giving up the booty right now. But if you want to dive deeper into it, you can expect CeeDee Lamb to get a TD and go over his 78.5 yards that they got him projected. Malik Neighbors, he's gonna continue that little streak, man. He's gonna score once again. Devin Singletary is gonna add to New York with the ground game with another score. Dak Prescott, at this moment, man, if you bet on it, you better bet that man to get under 258 yards. And bet on him getting under 1 TD through the air. He's not getting that. He's not getting 2. But you can expect Micah Parsons to get a sack. Before we go any further, man, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my personal thoughts. I liked everything you said. I'm not high on Dallas at all. Dude. Until further notice, I love Malik Neighbors. Um, as far as fantasy and statistics go, he's going to eat it. But there's nothing else on the Giants team that's really consistently producing right now. Um, they got a spunky young defense
Hey,
that
Dak
can
is 12 and
challenge.
0 against the Giants.
Oh, that's.
FYI.
I,
His last 12
I,
his last 12 starts against the Giants, 12 and 0.
I don't think they cover, but I think they win.
I think you know what, man, the Giants just they seem to have that dog in them. Enough. Like I don't think they're that threat of a team necessarily, but enough to beat Dallas this week. Hell yeah. I see Dallas dropping to 1-3, being the basement bums of the NFC East that they deserve. So moving forward to it, I got Jets over Broncos this week. Got the Bengals over the Panthers. Got the Texans beating the Jaguars. Bears over the Rams. I got the Colts handing the Steelers their first loss. Vikings beating the Packers. The Falcons over the Saints. Actually, I just kind of hope both teams lose. I got us beating the Eagles. 49ers over the Patriots. Commanders continuing to thrive, bro. Beating the Cardinals. Raiders over the Browns. Chiefs over the Chargers. Ravens over the Bills. Titans over the Dolphins. Lions over the Seahawks. Now,
If it wasn't the damn Patriots, I don't like the 49ers at all. Dude, without McCaffrey, they struggle. Wow.
yeah, but hopefully they get Debo Samuel back.
I mean, hopefully they stay like shit because we play them in a few weeks.
Hopefully. Now, I'm going to dive into that Bucs-Eagles game real quick. You said Saquon's coming to town, and bro, I hope we can stop Saquon because I got him. I'm betting on him to score multi TDs.
Dude, we are not doing good in the run on defense.
Nope. So bet on him to score an anytime touchdown. Hell, bet on him to score multiple touchdowns. And also bet on Saquon to go over 78.5 yards total. You can bet on Mike Evans getting a TD, but not breaking 62 yards.
Okay.
Because he's not that type of receiver at this moment. I don't see him busting a 100-yard game over Philly.
I don't think you'll see that until we play. I mean, honestly, teams like Philly, the Baltimore game, those games, they're going to do what they can to keep Mike invested.
Yeah, they're gonna body up Mike. Now, bet on Baker to go over his 1.5 TD line. But bet on him to go under 230 yards.
Okay.
You can bet on Chris Godwin to get a TD and go over his 63.5.
I think he's
Because I see
over
Chris
every
Godwin
week.
being heavily favored, and he thrives against Philly, as we've seen in the playoffs. And we've
Their
seen last
secondary
year when
has
we got
given
our
up a
ass
lot.
handed to us on Monday night.
But their secondary has given up a lot this year. A
I
lot.
was gonna say their secondary has been giving up some ass too, and that's why I got Chris
They
Godwin
have.
having that type of game. I also my flex sleeper to bet on this week, bro, is Jalen McMillan.
Okay.
Bet on him this week to score.
Now I got a question.
All right.
In some of those leagues, it's a good idea to pick up like the backup of a player, especially when they're crisscrossing. And I did that in two of my leagues with Bucky Irving and Rashad White. Going back to what I said, I still struggle because of the passing game and both of those leagues being a PPR, right? So I really feel, regardless of how Rashad runs, his pass game is always going to have more receptions right now. Should I start Bucky Irving or Rashad White? I only have room for one.
If you had to choose between the two, like if you don't have any other backs on your roster that could take that spot,
Not that I would trust over those two.
I guess I would go Rashad White because I see this being a dink and dunk type of game, and him being a big factor in it. Because maybe this is that game that Rashad
There's
White.
been a lot of talk across the board against Rashad White, so I know he's hearing the noise.
Yeah, and I'm not going to necessarily say no, don't do it. I'm not on. I got Bucky Irving in one of my leagues, man, and I can't even stem putting him as a flex option at this point. He's one of, and look, what I
think
for
if he has
everybody,
a
and I'm
game
glad
like,
you brought this up, huh?
yeah, go ahead.
So I was gonna say, I'm glad you brought that up because I kind of sat down and built a little ideal fantasy roster. And I gave you your ideal roster that you need to start. And I also gave you the players that if I mention on this secondary roster, you might want to make sure you put on the bench because I did a few of these. Now,
Okay.
your ideal fantasy roster, if you got Baker Mayfield against Philly, you're going to look good. If you got Devin Singletary against Dallas, like I do, you're going to look pretty good. Because Dallas is giving up some ass in that run game. And he's a little chippy ass back out of the backfield, in the pass game too. So Dallas gonna have their hands full. Marvin Harrison Jr. against Washington. Although I got Washington winning this game, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to have that type of game this week. The same thing going for Malik Neighbors currently against Dallas. He's going to have that type of game like he's had the last couple of weeks.
Right.
Flex option, I would throw Rome Odunze in there when it comes going against the LA Rams because it's going to be an interesting game. I see Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze being best friends again this week like they were last. Dallas Goedert against Tampa. Start him. Because with the injuries that they got going on in the receiving corps and Saquon, bro, anytime we face Saquon, I'm just gonna say it, we injure the dude. It's gonna piss me off when it happens, but he always ends up with an ankle injury after playing Tampa.
Well, as far as Dallas Goedert goes, he didn't. The phrase is, hey, he ate. That boy's eating. No, Dallas Goedert last
He
week,
ate
just in case you didn't catch it, he feasted. He feasted.
He ate during that playoff loss again to us,
Yes.
and he ate on that also during that Monday night campaign against us.
He is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated tight ends in the league. I think he's elite.
The fact that Zach Ertz left is putting up less production than him and is still considered a more reliable tight end and ranked higher is upsetting.
Retarded. Absolutely.
Now,
and that's not a knock at Zach Ertz.
That being said, this week, if you got these players on your roster, you might want to sit them down if you have quality, solid backup.
Okay.
Anthony Richardson against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He's going to get it done on the ground, but in the air, he is going to struggle against that Pittsburgh defense. He's going to have to rely heavily on that ground game to get things done. I see that defense holding Pittsburgh and Justin Fields. And that's why I do got Indy beat Pittsburgh and hit him with that first loss. But Anthony Richardson is not going to be the reason Indy wins.
Okay.
Rashad White against Philly. My opinion. Now, I know you're asking between him and Bucky Irving.
No, you answered my question the way I wanted it answered.
I was going to say, my personal opinion, I would sit Bucky Irving's ass down too. But that being said,
now what about Romeo Dobbs? Let me ask you about Romeo Dobbs.
Absolutely.
Because he's got, I think if I have Romeo Dobbs to put in here, you would put him in over those two.
Who's he against this week?
The Packers are facing.
Green Bay?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Hang on. Uno más, por favor.
Okay, you're looking it up. Okay. Yeah, I've got him in one league, and the other running back I got
I would. He is facing Minnesota's defense. I do believe that is a good day. You should be all right with that.
Okay. I guess that secondary. You think? I mean, they've been playing ball.
I think he'll be all right. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to ball out, but he's going to get you more points than Rashad White or Bucky Irving this week.
I think him and Bucky Irving are right on par for the same amount, just under 10, and Rashad's like just over 7.
Yeah, and it's a rough week for. I mean, bro, it's rough to be Rashad White and Bucky Irving fantasy owners.
Well, Philadelphia's defense, they've given up the pass. They haven't given up much of the run. Their front 7 is a lot better than their back 5.
Absolutely. I still don't have Baker balling out, but
you don't need to ball out as long as you execute.
Yeah, bro, I got us executing well enough on both sides of the ball to just be able to come away with a victory. Now, Jalen Waddle versus Tennessee. Right now, with the issues that Miami has at quarterback, you don't know if Tua is ever going to be able to play football again. Skylar Thompson, ain't that dude passing, bro? He's a Taysom Hill gadget player.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Michael,
dude, my son's happy. He started to pick him up, right, because he had Tua. Well, he had Sam Darnold in a second quarterback. Well, he went to go pick him up, but he picked up Justin Fields instead. And now he's got Sam Darnold and Justin Fields. And I'm like, bro, you're doing good right now.
Well, might want to check your status on Sam Darnold because I know we left last week's game with an injury.
Yeah, he's got Justin Fields this week.
I'm saying Justin Fields is going to be a smart play.
I think he's going to he's been playing well.
DeAndre Swift, Michael Pittman versus Steelers.
Okay.
I'd sit him down this week.
Really?
I would.
Okay.
That Steelers secondary, I told you, bro. That's why I don't have Anthony Richardson being the reason.
Yeah.
And he's going to do just enough to win the game. That would be like a 31-28 victory type thing. Like, that's going to be a field goal type win.
Okay.
I'll give it to you that way. Now, like I tried to expose a little bit ago, you might want to sit DeAndre Swift against the Rams. I think that passing game is going to be nuts. I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
Kate Otten against Philly. You said it, not me, but I do not disagree. Let me get back to it real quick. I skipped something. For your defenses, start Pittsburgh versus Indy.
Okay.
And you can also start Indy versus Pittsburgh.
Oh, so sloppy game. Huh?
I don't know necessarily if it's going to be a sloppy game or just a well executed defensive game as well.
Fair enough. They both got good defenses.
But what I would not do, I wouldn't start Denver's defense against the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is going to carve their ass up.
He has been on fire since week 2.
Yeah, and it pains me to say it.
He's playing like like you didn't want him to play when he went to the Jets.
I mean, everybody that says that he may have lost a step, man, they might be full of shit. But
dude, last week I watched that game. Holy shit, he looked good.
Yes, sir, he did.
All right, well, good parlay or plunder, buddy, or parlay or play. Excuse me. I like that one. I liked a lot of your stuff. You gave me the answer I was expecting, but I've still got till Sunday before I decide. But I'll let you know what the results are next week on parlay or playing. So the other 31, We don't have a bunch, but I wanted to bring up something because I'm a hater, you know, I'm a troll, and this is where I can get my troll on. If you know what I mean. I hate the Dallas Cowboys. Just want to point that out. But they're 5.5 point favorites, and they just paid three players a buttload of money, and they're what 0-3
Who,
or one and
Dallas?
two, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
1-2.
Yeah, they're 1-2. They've lost the last 2 weeks and lost in horrible fashion both weeks. Like a complete collapse coming out of the gate. And that's damn sure not what you want because usually it's very difficult for teams to recover. I mean, you've got your linebacker over here running his mouth, and calling the players out in a sense, not specifically, but in a way that like that's something that you should handle in the locker room because you're not even putting up numbers either, bro. Um, so first off, then you got those guys on offense. First off, they got who at running back? Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, he's not the same dude he once was.
No, he's not. Now, my question is theoretically, and to you, if you've got a response, Buckhead, if they lose tonight, is it over this season for them?
No,
That's cool.
no. Dallas
Because
can
listen,
lose this game.
and the reason why I say that, now, the reason why I say that, hold that thought. The reason why I say that is you're familiar with the next 6 weeks for the Buccaneers as far as scheduling, right?
Yeah.
Hardest part of the season. They played almost identically, damn near the same teams at the top of the ranks. They play your elite teams. Plus, they've got a couple of division games mixed in there. They've got one of the toughest schedules in the middle of the season, the same as the Buccaneers. So, with that being said, if they lose now, they've got a chance to lose probably 3 or 4 out of the next 5 or 6. That's why I say that.
Yeah, but I still don't think I don't think it's over for them
Right?
because they could still. I mean, man, we've
They got
seen it with
talented people
underdogs this year.
outside of running
We've seen
backs.
it.
They got
We've seen it
talented
with
people.
underdog teams this year, man. Like
Yeah.
they're doing their thing.
Look at San Francisco. They're injured a couple of players and they look horrible. Dallas looks horrible. Baltimore just got back off the snide last week when they lost a couple of straight games. Like the West, the NFC West is completely wide open with the Seattle Seahawks leading it. The LA Rams are banged up, but they're actually, they're playing really well with their injuries, to the players that they got out. They got the number one and number two offensive wide receiver out. Like, how in the hell do you even play after that? That is so insane to think about. Um, like, wow. Um, but they got a really young defense, so it's a really tough thing. But the season is long, and we got an extra playoff spot too now that we're really not used to. So that kind of helps.
Yeah.
They can sneak in at least in the wild card, if nothing else. We've seen a 500 team or below 500 team making the playoffs with
Yeah,
the amount of teams
bro,
that can be in
I
the playoffs.
think Dallas can easily be that. That's what I'm saying, man. Like their season's not done if they lose
Okay,
tonight. Do I think they're gonna be one of your top contending teams for the NFC? The NFC East later on this year? No. Like that those days are kind of behind them.
if
You're
things
gonna
stay the
see, and
same,
the
you might see
narrative
the
will be.
Commanders.
You'll see. Yeah, bro, you know what? You could easily see Dallas missing the playoffs thinking of it because Washington isn't looking too bad.
Philly can turn it around.
Philly can easily turn it around. The Giants, you know what, bro? They could easily figure it out having that receiver, having Malik Neighbors, because he is a game changer.
Yes, yes, yes.
You got to get to do his
Completely
flowers,
agree.
and that running game with Devin Singletary could easily become explosive.
Yeah, he's not a horrible running back.
No, like he was doing some good things out there in Chicago. So thinking about it, man, like I don't think Dallas' season would be over with this loss. Like they could still contend, but I do
Okay.
think that they potentially lose out on the uh, NFC East crown. I do feel they do miss out on the wild card.
Okay. Makes
And this
sense.
might be the narrative of, well, you tried to put the band back together with Zeke and Dak, and you paid all this money, and look what we got.
That's probably the only running back they could afford, bro.
Because, bro, think about it. The Dallas
Drafted
Cowboys
one.
are easily the New York Yankees of the NFL.
Absolutely, they exactly are.
You're putting all this money into these players just to put all this money into these players.
To have people talk about you instead of do what you're supposed to do on the field, and that's win games.
Yeah, like, yeah, we're talking about you, but, bro, we're laughing at you. Like, I'm sorry, you gave Pat Mahomes at that time in what, 2020, 2019?
Yep.
But you gave Pat
2019.
Mahomes a record-breaking fucking deal. When he signed that, what was it, $500 million contract?
Mm-hmm.
Like, at the time, it was record-breaking, but look what he did.
Yeah.
Look what Dak, I'm sorry, not Dak, but look what Mahomes did. Handed Kansas City its first Super Bowl.
In a long time.
You have to reward that. Like, in my opinion, being that type of player, bro.
And then what did
Like
he
if
do? He
Brock
won
Purdy,
more Super Bowls.
dude, like if Brock Purdy would have won that Super Bowl for them last year, or Jalen Hurts would have won the Super Bowl the year before,
They'd have got banked.
I would. And I mean, honestly, bro, both of those quarterbacks mentioned deserve to be paid because look what they're doing. They're easily getting to the big dance. I mean, I'm not going to say easily, but they're getting to the big dance. They're being up there.
Without a
Dallas is
question.
what?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is our year.
Dallas
and
can't even make it past the second round.
Yeah, like divisional round bounce. And the only reason that they ever made it past a wild card in the last 20 years, bro, is they beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. Like,
yeah.
And look at that, bro. Dak almost got picked off in the end zone.
Well, let's get to some good stuff. Actually, and speaking of Kansas City, you have 4 teams, all right, left that are undefeated. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City, Pittsburgh Steelers, Seattle Seahawks. Are there any teams on this list that are suspect?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Seattle
I'll go
Seahawks
first and then let you come back. Oh, you said them before the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's pretty accurate from what I got.
I got Pittsburgh and Seattle both losing this week.
I got out of those 4. I think the league was expecting, and look, we've had conversations on this show before about Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, what they were going to do. I said they weren't going to fall off too hard, and there's a couple of people that did. I think as the year goes by,
I take that back. I got 3 of the 4 teams losing this week.
You think? Oh, really?
I got the Lions over the Seahawks, the Ravens over the Bills. And then
wow.
Pittsburgh
losing.
What is it? Lions over the Seahawks.
Pittsburgh losing.
Yeah, Pittsburgh losing.
Wow. I actually, as far as like this week, I couldn't tell you the answer, but as far as like the season ending, what I project to see as of right now, I think with the defense that they have, if he just trusts in the coaching staff and himself and does not give the ball up, Pittsburgh's going to make the playoffs and have a winning record. I
I got,
actually
I got
predicted.
Pittsburgh being a playoff team.
I actually predicted in the beginning of the season, in preseason, that Tomlin would have his first losing season this year. I am quite impressed with the ability for him to not fuck the game up. Speaking of Justin Fields, I see the Seattle Seahawks team giving up on Geno Smith. If Geno Smith is a starting quarterback in the league, I do believe that he's not top 15 or top 20 in my opinion. I would probably, well, he might be in the top 15 to 20. But the team effort that they're getting out there is really well. They got a great running back. They got a hell of an offensive line, and they got a good young studded defense. And it reminds me of like the Legion of Boom, but not in that particular manner, but like how they all collectively came together at a young time in Seattle and then built their way up.
You say Geno Smith is in top 15?
Nope. I think he's a system quarterback.
I have to digress.
Fair enough.
And I will tell you, his contract states otherwise, bro. Like him going to Seattle, I will easily say Geno Smith is a top 10 quarterback.
Oh. Okay.
But he's ranked like 9 or 10.
Okay.
I think he's earned that. I think he's earned that respect once again, man. Like he's shown us that he's not just that dude that we thought he was in New York.
No, injuries made his New York stint. I just think let me explain my opinion. System quarterbacks, you put them in a system, give them one or two pieces, and they can succeed as long as they don't
Geno
fuck
Smith
it
is
up.
better than Russell Wilson.
At this time, right now, absolutely. I think Russell Wilson's not even a starting quarterback in the league.
I mean, he's not. Look at him. Justin Fields is starting.
And Mike Tomlin said earlier this week, there's not even a conversation.
Yeah, because why
It's so many words. Well, the guy was injured. Bro. He's been injured.
Yeah, but here's my thing. If you're Mike Tomlin, you're 3-0 right now. Say you do get Russell Wilson healthy.
Yeah.
Are you going to swap quarterbacks in the middle of an undefeated run when your quarterback's actually playing the best he's played in his career?
Hell no.
Why? Because Russell Wilson's healthy? Fuck out of here, bro. He better go home and sit on Sierra's dick.
I don't think he's going to come back after this year, in my opinion.
I think, bro, Russell Wilson was great in the first couple of years, but he got as soon as that teams were able to fucking scheme against him,
it was over.
Russ got exposed, bro. He left Pete Carroll because I get it. You had your little issues, You went to Denver. I thought Sean Payton was going to be great for Russ too.
I did.
But even Sean Payton thought it was a joke. You sent his ass to Pittsburgh, and Mike Tomlin even was like, hell no, I got Justin Fields. I mean, end of the story, right? Russ ain't the dude.
No.
Russ ain't him, and he ain't been him for a minute.
Absolutely agree. Well, let's get to the last thing in the other 31. What has been the biggest surprise through the first 3 weeks of the season for you?
The biggest surprise for me?
I'll lead off while you think.
I was going to say
the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have looked absolutely horrendous. And this is a team in the last few years with Doug Peterson at the helm has really played good football. Trevor Lawrence hasn't eclipsed himself and separated himself from that mid-level pack of quarterbacks. But what you really thought, I mean, everything in college led up to him coming into the NFL and getting with the right system. And look, don't get it
I
twisted.
was gonna
I
say,
think
man, in my
Doug Peterson
opinion,
is in the right system.
I'm still trying to figure out why they decided to pay Trevor Lawrence.
I don't think I don't think it was good timing. Wouldn't have paid him that right now.
I wouldn't have paid him that.
I
What
mean,
has he
before the
done?
season even started, I felt that way.
What the fuck? I mean, what the fuck has he done? What, one playoff appearance?
He had one damn good year, and that was it.
Like, I get it, bro. That's the dude you drafted, but really?
But that's what they pay for. That's what they pay for. They pay for a quarterback to get you to the playoffs. He proved he could do it. And see, that's the difficulty with the judgment of the system on the pay from player to player. It's they look
Okay,
at
so
certain
you
things
know
like that
what?
for a quarterback.
If we're gonna go that route, my biggest surprise
Uh-huh.
so far this season
Right.
is the two quarterbacks they wanted to make it a point that they paid Tua and Trevor Lawrence are proving that they ain't worth the money.
You know
Tua
that
still at this point after 27 concussions still hasn't figured out that you lead with your feet.
I'm not laughing. I mean, the fact that DeMar Hamlin was the one that he hit just made it all so more ironic.
Two of the softest things in the NFL collided. Look what happened.
Gee. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. On that note, I really appreciate everybody dealing and working with the technical issues this week. We've got a storm rolling through here, and it messed it up a few times. And sorry about the echo. Don't know what that was about. But before we get out of here, I want to recognize a couple of our affiliates who really do a good job of supporting us. One is the Crew NFC Roundtable with me, Sador, at the head of the helm. I really appreciate the support, guys. Love your show, love your content, and everybody shout out to them. If you want to check them out, they're on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock or Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock. I can't remember. I'll get it and make a post on it on the page. And then JTV Wrestling. If you enjoy WWE, AEW, or professional wrestling as an entertainment, and you like the game WWE 2K, they actually do a promotion where they put on a complete show with created players off the video game, and they do it's cool. They have the matches. They have it's a scripted thing. It's really cool. So check them out. You can find them on Facebook and YouTube. As for me, I'll release tomorrow the graphic for the Plunders 10. I'm sorry, I don't have access to it right now. I switched phones after I made it, and I wasn't able to pull up the content. Do you still have that? Because I thought I sent it to you, right? The Plunders 10 list this week. Didn't you ask me if I copied Stephen A's list?
Oh yeah.
If you've got it, can you send it to me?
Yeah, I got you.
Because that's the only reason that we're not going over. But I'll actually post a graphic tomorrow. And be sure, if you're in the Plunders crew, or if you're not, or want to, send me a message. We'll get to you. BucDad, if you contact Real 8080 on Facebook, he can get you hooked up with an invite. But if you want to join the Plunders crew, we also have a Plunders Pick'em. It's basically we do the game competition week to week, game to game. Let's see, let it come up. And if so, we can go over them real quick. Sorry, my internet is wonky over here. Might take a second to load, but nonetheless, I think it's going to be a really good few weeks. The Buccaneers have got a bunch of games coming up that are really tough. We've got 2 division games. We've got Atlanta and New Orleans, I think, back to back. We've got let's see, we've got Baltimore. We've got Philadelphia this week. We've got Baltimore coming up. We've got the 49ers coming up. Who else do we have? There was one other team. But we've got a really tough portion of our schedule this year coming up in the next few weeks. I think the next 6 to 7 weeks is what it is.
Anyways, but you can catch us on Sunday for the pregame at 11:30. Till next week, we'll see you.
We ain't playing wanna front, put that ass off. Do it like them dirty South boys doing. Watch I got the club, I'ma make the